overnight trivia. Alright, we'll take a emergency standby, any priority traffic, any emergencies, police call VA3 BVH. Alright, nothing heard. Alright, well, tonight, for the January 26th net here, 2021, we're going to talk a bit about birds. If you saw the email, the question is going to be related to birds tonight. So, with that being said, here is your trivia. How many species of birds are in Ontario? How many species of birds are in Ontario? How many species? Anybody take a stab at that one? We'll call Leamington only now. VA3 BVH. Go ahead.
VE3 Whiskey Golf Whiskey.
VE3 Victor Delta Foxtrot.
Victor Alpha 3 Papa Golf Delta.
TPD.
Alright, I got Graham, Mark, and George squared back to back, as always. Anybody else in Leamington before we take check-ins from Windsor?
E3 CLR.
That's a Roger on ELR. That takes care of Leamington. Let's head over to Windsor. Windsor repeater, go ahead. VE3WIN, VA3 BVH. Come on in, Windsor. Go ahead.
Victor Alpha 3 Fox Tango Charlie TJ in Windsor. QRU. 73.
VA3 DQI QRU.
Tell Tony in Windsor. BOB.
8FJ, Rich in Westland.
80 Romeo Quebec, Tony in East Point, Michigan. ES Mobile.
Alright, I got ES Mobile there right at the end. VA3 FTC, VA3 DKY, QRU. Thank you, gentlemen. VE3 YAH. I believe it's, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Victor Alpha 3 Mike Whiskey Bravo. AC8FJ and KD8SRQ from across the pond, and the big kahuna himself, Papa Emeritus, VE3ES, aka Bongo Bob. Welcome, Bill. Anybody else in Windsor? VA3 BVH.
3B okay. TJN Portable. 3 Delta Fox Alpha, Aaron in Walkerville, QRU.
Alright, picking up VE3 BOK, VE3 TGN, and VE3 DFA. Thank you, gentlemen. DFA is QRU. Have a good evening. Anybody else?
TJQ. DDP.
anybody else? Alrighty, well, let's head on back to the tippy top. But first, before we get to Graham, we're going to go to Bill out in the mobile VE3ES in case you have to park and shut the engine off. Bill, we'll take you first. Good evening. Anything for the greater Essex and Kent County ham radio operators tonight? Anything for us there, Bill? And of course, like last night, the big talk was HH, aka Ham Shack Hotline. That's our new little play toy with ham radio. It's been around for, what do you say, Bill, about a year, maybe a little bit more. And we're really starting to get into it down here. Perhaps you could explain a little bit about it. It's a VoIP service that uses a multi-line VoIP desktop, old school desktop phone with a cord and everything to connect to the World Wide Web and make contacts within that network. So Bill, over to you. I just purchased a Cisco SPA 303, so that's going to be my rig of choice for that part of ham radio with the Ham Shack Hotline. So Bill, over to you for a quick mobile VE3ES VA3 BVH.
Very good, Brian, and we'll say good evening to one and all. I'm just pulling into the parking lot of the local superstore on Dougal, so good timing. And I will be parking here momentarily and going inside and doing some grocery shopping, which is still allowed. Ham radio hotline, HH. You pretty much summed it up. It's ham radio brought to the world of VoIP. And I just got it set up, and I had to unset it up immediately because we have one Ethernet cable in the house, and that's connected to the kid's laptop. I had two final exams tomorrow and the day after, so I'll go out tomorrow and buy a cable. I'll get back on. So my knowledge of the system is quite limited. It's very new to me, but quite interesting. Conferences, listened to a conference the other night, and the Spark is having its own conference room set up, or I believe it is set up, and the list goes on. So be listening for further details on HH. Anyway, Brian, I'll let you carry on and say hello to all. It's cold and slippery here in the big city, actually in South Walkerville. So carry on. VA3 BVH in the nest. Hello to all. VE3ES mobile.
Roger that, Bill. Thanks for all that. And just curious, before you go and get out of the car, what's your answer to the trivia tonight? We're looking for how many species of bird there are in Ontario. Bill, over to you.
I'm going to throw a wild guess out and say there's 1,000. Probably more than that. The other night there was an article in the Windsor Sphere. It was talking about the species that were seen, I guess the group that Essex County Naturalists, something like that, and they were in Ojibwe Park here in Windsor, and they came up dozens and dozens of birds, and they said that was just a fraction of what's in that park. So we'll probably say 1,000 across the province. There's my guess. Carry on, V3ES mobile.
Roger that, Bill. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck getting what you need at the store. Up to the top of the list, VE3 WGW Graham. Graham out to you in Wheatley, VA3 BVH, looking for how many species of bird there are in the province, just Ontario. Graham, good evening, over to you.
Good evening, sir. I have no idea how many different birds there would be, but I do know that there's at the end of Zion, there's always cars parked, and they're always looking for birds, and guys out there with cameras and telescopes and God only knows what, but they have a fun time down there looking for them. I have no idea how many there are. But, yeah, other than that, not a lot going on. And this HH thing seems to be sort of neat. I'll have to look into it and see what I can do. I don't know if it would be useful or not, but anyway, it would be something to look into. So that's about it. So other than that, Mary and I are both here. She's over on her computer there doing stuff, and I'm here. I'm just watching a video on Bletchley Park. Alan Turing and some other guy there in the decoding of the German Enigma. So it's sort of interesting. Won't hold it, let you go. Have a good evening, have a good net. B3BVH, B3WGW. Or BA3BVH, B3WGW.
Roger that, and we'll throw OML in here as well, QRU. Thanks, and waving a hand at her, of course. And thanks for checking in. And yeah, it's basically just, it's voice over internet protocol on its own network. And you have to have them configure your ID and put it in their system. Like on the phone you have, it's a pretty simple process in terms, and you're a very technologically savvy person, so I'm pretty sure you'll be all right with that. But yeah, just another mode of communication, something new to use, and I'll definitely join up on that Spark group once that connection has been established on the HH network. But yeah, sounds good. Alrighty, Graham. Thanks for joining us. Before I go to Mark, are there any more check-ins that just want to maybe get in and out? Or if you're there, please go ahead. QRZ VA3 BVH Spark Trivia Night here in the Sunparlor. Go ahead.
B3 Papa Victor, QRU.
Terry is South Michigan.
I think there was a LaSalle, Michigan station in there. You doubled up, and I just got the tail end of it. Can you go ahead one more time? And Papa Victor, I did get you. Thanks, Rick. Have a good one. The LaSalle, Michigan station again, one more time. VA3 BVH.
November 8th, November, Yankee Papa. His name is Terry in LaSalle, Michigan, and checking in now.
Roger that. November 8th, November, Yankee Papa. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us. November, Yankee Papa. Okay. QRU. Thanks for jumping aboard in and out. Anybody else before I go up to Mark? VA3 BVH. Okay then, nobody else for check-ins right now, no problem. VE3 VDF from about a block away and about 12 stories up. Mark, good evening from high atop South Leamington, way up there. Mark, how many species of birds do you think occupy the province? Over to you, VA3 BVH.
VE3 BVH, net controller from VE3 VDF Fraternity. Good evening, Brian, all and that there. I guess my answer would be, I'll say 1,400 species. That's my wild guess there, Bill, or Brian. So, yeah, I'm doing not too bad here, so I'm kind of bored stiff sometimes, but I'm busy doing things, so. Anyway, back to you there, Brian. VA3 BVH net controller from VE3 VDF portable.
Mark. Always good to hear from you. Take care. Have a good evening. And thanks for throwing down a guess, as always. Let's see here. Next on my list, first George of 2, VA3 PGD. George, how many species do you think our province has of those fine feathered people, those little guys, the birds? George, over to you. How many do you think? VA3 BVH.
VA3 BVH and the group from VA3 PGD. Good evening, Brian and Paul. Oh, that's kind of an interesting one. Actually, the one in Chatham that could really answer that would be VE3FUN, because she's a real birder. So, but I don't know. Bill said 1,000, and let's see. Mark said 1,400. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say 500. I was thinking probably somewhere in 500, but that's basically that'd be my guess. I'll just say 500. Anyway, that's all I've got, and just a big day tomorrow. I go to Windsor and have a tooth extraction and an implant done, so that'll be lots of fun. I'm glad I switched on net control for tomorrow night, because I don't think I'll be able to speak too well after this, but we'll see. Anyway, that's about all I've got, so I'll send it back to net control, back to VA3 BVH from VA3 PGD.
Yeah, roger that, George. Thanks for joining us and hammering your guess down for trivia. And, yeah, that's definitely at the other end of the spectrum, so there's going to be all kinds of guesses all over the map tonight, so we'll just have to see what comes of it at the end. So thanks for checking in, and good luck with your tooth. That does not sound like fun at all, and yes, good call. Unless you want to be talking with a with a swollen mouth on the net, that would be tough. That would be tough. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Best of luck with that again, and you have yourself a good one. Down to my second George of the evening, the E3 TPD. George, you live out in Wheatley. You probably see a ton of birds out in your area. How many do you think we have in the province? How many species in the province? George, over to you. VA3 BVH.
3 BVH in the group from VE3 TPD. You know, the XYL and I have this big honking book that we look up these critters in when they show their themselves around the yard. And I'm going to take a wild guess here around 600. But yeah, there's no shortage of them, that's for sure. Not much going on here. That Ham Shack hotline sounds like a good idea. I might look into that and see how that works. And that would be great for, well, emergency club meetings and all kinds of stuff. Not much going on here. Did a little bit of 40 meters this afternoon. It was kind of nice. And, well, just kind of taking it easy here, looking after a few things in the shack. With that being said, I will turn it back over to net control from VE3 TPD.
Yeah, George, roger that, and yes, it does look interesting, which is why I did buy in already. I love internet and digital stuff, and I figured it'd be a great idea, especially for, like, of course, like, yeah, like an emergency meeting or like an EOC type application where, you know, where all of us can be contacted at the push of a button or the pickup of a receiver that fast and be able to communicate quickly and efficiently. So that's definitely something I'm into, because I love technology. So I figured, for the price of a phone, right, just a handset and a receiver, not much to it, and it's free. You're just using your data. So anyhow, yes, and good on the birds. And just so everyone knows, this is a recent study. Most recent study I found. So keep that in mind as well. Alrighty, let's, before we time out, we'll drop it. Alrighty, George, once again, thanks for joining us every week, and thanks for hammering your guest down for the trivia. VE3ELR, over to you out there, ELR, from VA3BVH, looking for your answer to the trivia tonight. Good evening.
VA3BVH is VE3ELR. Name is Bob over here in Blenheim area. Not much going on today. Watched the snow for a little while, but no accumulation. Just turned the ground white a little bit, but that's it. Other than that, not too much else going on around here, and I threw a dart on at the board and come up with 812 for how many species of birds. So we'll see how close that gets me. So we'll send it back to you, VA3BVH and VE3ELR.
Roger that, Bob. Thanks for joining us, and have a good evening. Thanks for the guests, and hopefully we grab you again next week. Alrighty, let's keep going, but before we keep going, I'm just going to take a pause here and see if there's anybody else around that just wants to maybe pop in and out, or if you want to just check in and talk. VA3BVH, it's trivia night here in the Sunparlor. Any check-ins? Go ahead. Alrighty, no worries. Nobody wanting to check in. I'm sure we'll get a couple more. VA3FTC and VA3DKY. In and out. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great evening. I believe the next one I heard was kind of cut off, but I got the end of it. I'm pretty sure it's Tony, VE3YAH. Tony, over to you for trivia tonight. How many species of bird are there in Ontario? Looking for that magical number. Over to you, VA3BVH.
VA3BVH, Victor Echo 3 Yankee Alpha Hotel Tony. Good evening to you and everybody on net tonight. I'm going to throw this number out there. Not sure what it is, but just for champagne and Skittles, I'm going to throw this number out there as a guess. I'm going to say 740. Other than that, nothing much happening today. Quiet Tuesday, relaxing evening at home, and a bunch of stuff to do tomorrow and the next few days. Other than that, nothing much more to add to the pot. Anyway, have a good evening, gentlemen, and take care. Good evening to yourself, Brian. VA3BVH from VE3 Yankee Alpha Hotel 73.
Yeah, roger that. Roger that. Thank you so much for checking in once again. I know there was a couple doubles there, and I didn't get quite everyone. So I'll do my best to work through the list here. The next couple I might have fudged, but hopefully I got it right. Alrighty, thanks Tony, VE3YAH, and thanks for your answer as well. Hopefully we grab you again next week. Alright, let's keep moving, because I still am only about halfway through the list here. I believe it was stepped on a couple times there. VA3, so Victor Alpha 3, Mike Whiskey Bravo. I'm not sure if I got the call sign correct. You were stepped on by a couple there. So over to you for trivia. Looking for how many species of bird there are currently in Ontario. Lots of people do this for a living, as previously noted here there on the net. So lots of people are watching, taking note. What do you think? Over to you, VA3BVH.
I'm probably about 1325, so 1,325 species. That's the best I can do. The call sign is Victor Alpha 3, Michael Whiskey Bravo. The name is Mark. I'm over here in Central Windsor.
Roger, roger. Yep, okay, I did get it right. I just kind of heard the tail end of it, but no problem at all. You're coming in great. Thanks for the guests, of course, and have yourself a great evening, and thanks for joining us. Let's hop the border now over to AC8FJ. Over to you for the trivia. Good evening, VA3 BVH.
BVH, AC8FJ, Rich here in Winston, Westland, Michigan. Well, in one province, I would have to guess maybe 300, and you can probably see most of them, if not all of them, at a provincial park, or even at Point Pelee. I can remember taking my nieces growing up and my granddaughter recently to Point Pelee and scouting out the trails and the point, and I can remember seeing the birders with their binoculars walking around, looking up in the air. So that's probably the most likely spot where you may see a large variety of them. So 300 would be my guess as an estimate. Anyway, taking a break during lunch, working at home and shoving in the snow, but all the exercise I can get this week since it's, when it gets down to 28, 25 degrees, a little cold walking through the neighborhood. So I got my share of exercise for myself and my neighbors. And with that, nothing else really going on here. And we turn it back to you, Brian, VA3 BVH, AC8FJ.
Yeah, you definitely have your antenna pointed in the right direction. You're clicking that machine. That machine is singing. Crystal clear on this end, making the connection over the internet down here to Leamington. Definitely a good signal there. And yeah, actually, come to think of it, Point Pelee is just a couple clicks from my house. Thanks, Rich. I'll learn all you guys eventually for checking in. And you have yourself a great night. Lots of people to get to here still. We're still staying on that side of the border. So over to Kilo Delta 8 Sierra Romeo, Quebec. Tony, what's going on tonight? And are you a bird watcher by chance? How many birds do you think are in our province over here in Ontario? Over to you.
BBH, this is Kilo Delta 8 Sierra Romeo, Quebec. Good evening, Brian, and all my friends on both sides of the border. Nothing much going on here. Sunday did make a contact to a friend of mine in Union, Ohio, on the HF side on the, what was it, 40 meters. 40 meters, yeah, did that. So that was exciting. I haven't been able to contact him in quite a while, so that's pretty cool. And my guess is 433. And I don't know where that number came from. So with that, I just want to wish everyone to please stay safe and stay healthy. And watch out for each other. And 73, VA3, VVH, this is Kilo Delta 8 Sierra Romeo. Back to you, Brad.
Roger that, Tony. Thanks for joining us as always and throwing your guess in the hat. Thanks again. And yeah, I don't know what to say. We're going to get all kinds of different answers tonight. And my answer when I originally guessed was a little high. Not terribly high, but a little bit. But hope all is well with you there, Tony, and take care. Hopefully you guys are getting into a little bit better shape over there. Our numbers are starting to slowly count backwards, so hopefully it's doing the same on your end. Take care, and 7-3, hopefully we grab you next week. Let's keep moving here. VE3BOK, Bill, I believe out in Amherstburg. Good evening, Bill. Do you know birds by chance? How many do you think are in the province? How many species? How many different types inhabit Ontario? Over to you, VA3BVH.
Hello, Brian, and everybody on that D3DOK. Do I know birds? I've been referred to as a bird brain from time to time, but I'm not sure if that's related. Just the other day, my son-in-law and I were driving up Howard Avenue toward Windsor, and off to the left in one of the farm fields was a huge bald eagle. It was on the ground, which I found that a little unusual, because usually you see them perched atop poles and things like that, but this guy was on the ground, and he was absolutely huge. With regard to your question, I was going to go. I'm going to go out on a limb, so to speak, pun intended, and I'll say 1,500. How's that sound? Back to that D3DOK.
Roger that. Educated guess. Respectable on that. No worries there, but yeah. Thanks for joining us. Good signal as always from out there. And hope all is well on your end. And thanks for joining us once again tonight. Hopefully we grab you again next week. 1,500 is the guess there. Okay, well, we'll have to see what happens. Anything can happen. We'll take a pause here and look for a couple more check-ins to see if anyone wants to go in and out. QRU, VA3, BVH, anybody for check-ins? Go ahead.